Today, I'm going to answer the question, can you process roosters without experience or expensive tools? And the answer is yes. To our Follow the Whisper regulars, we hope that you will be able to come along and watch and learn from our experiences, but if you can't, we will catch you guys next week. And for our visitors, welcome. And before we dive into rooster processing, I wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory. So a little over a year ago, my husband Jonathan and I were feeling an itch to do something different and to buy land. Last May, we actually sold our home before we had any idea where we were gonna end up. We moved into my sister's basement for 3 months with our huge 160-pound dog. And then eventually we purchased a 10-acre property with this home that needed a lot of love. We gutted and renovated our rancher, we built a chicken coop, and we hatched a clutch of chickens. From the get-go, my rule was that I was not gonna hatch chickens unless I was willing to use any roosters that we wound up with, and that leads us to today's video. I wanna tell you a couple of things that this video is, and a couple of things that this video is not. This video is a place that I am hoping first-time processors will come to gain insight and a little bit of courage and some empowerment, because homesteading and chicken raising is brand new to me. And seriously, if I can do this, then you can do it too. I am also hoping that this video is a way for me to prove that you do not need fancy schmancy expensive equipment to process your birds humanely and safely. With the exception of one piece of equipment, I didn't buy anything. This was all stuff that I already had on hand. This video is not a how-to. I have never hunted a day in my life. I have never once gutted a fish. I was truly a first-timer. If doing these things humanely is your #1 goal like it was for me, then to be really honest, you shouldn't be taking instructions from me. Having those caveats out of the way, if you're new to homesteading like I am, I hope that you will stick around. Even though processing birds isn't really a fun part of the process, it's an important part nevertheless. And I promise you, I promise you can do this. Even though my yield was small and that I only had 3 roosters to process, I did the entire thing myself from start to finish. As far as equipment for the actual dispatching, I am just using a single sharpened knife. There are several methods that you can use and do whatever you're most comfortable with, but for myself personally, I felt like a knife was the best option for me. Feathering was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I saw, somebody with tons of experience do it in less than 2 minutes. I would say that it took me a lot more than 2 minutes, but just dipped in the hot water. It's not boiling, it's at maybe 145, 150, something like that. But in a matter of minutes, I was able to just pluck those out with my hands. I didn't have any extra tools. I'm gonna go ahead and dispatch the second rooster while I open up the first one and clean him out. Okay, cleaning the chicken or evisceration is complete. It really was not that bad. Sounds kind of gross, it really wasn't that bad. If you've ever done a Thanksgiving turkey or roasted a chicken before, it's really no different than stuffing it. You're just unstuffing it. Number 2, feathering, coming up. As you can see, I have no extra tools. I did not buy a plucker. I did not rent a plucker. I did not even purchase one of the drill attachments. And with a proper dunk of just a few seconds, you can just pluck all those feathers, come right out. Checking back in with a status update, I am reporting back to you after having dispatched my 3rd rooster. He is my last one, and I will tell you that it gets so much easier with each subsequent rooster. You're gonna hear some thrashing. What they say is true, but it is short-lived, fortunately. You heard that thrashing for just a second. It's already done. And I am here with my very last rooster for cleaning. Before I finish up here and get cleaned up, I just wanted to say, I know that this is not a video for everyone. There are going to be mixed feelings out there. If you are a part of the vegetarian or vegan community, then I totally respect you and I appreciate what you do and recognize that what I had to say today isn't a good fit for you, and that is okay. I hope you will know and believe that I dispatched of these roosters in the most humane way possible. I treated them with love and respect, and I appreciated what they offered me. This is the first time in my life that I have ever taken a life, and I do not take that lightly, but I am here to say that I'm on the other end. I survived it, and I'm happy to be able to provide for my family in this way and make their lives purposeful, and know that we hatched them for a reason. They didn't just go to waste. But I needed to do this today. I needed to show myself that I have it in me to take an animal from the start of its life to the end of it, that I have the capability of seeing it out of this world humanely, and that I too am capable of providing for my family. So we're gonna get this last guy cleaned up and in the refrigerator, and then most likely we will be using one of them in the near future for soup, and the other two will be stashed in the freezer for now. Okay, so now that you've watched and walked along with me for the process, I want to answer a couple of questions that I had for other first-timers or that I thought perhaps you might have after watching. We want to make sure that as much as possible our chickens are friendly, especially because we have young children who want to be a part of the process. Could our hens at some point be aggressive? Absolutely. We'll address that if and when we need to, but the chances are much higher from a rooster. We have heard numerous stories from friends and family of aggressive roosters, even sometimes resulting in injuries, and so that was not an option for us. So keeping them, no. Around our property, there are predators galore. And we have a fox family that visits us nonstop. We've probably seen them 3 times in the past 2 weeks. I truly think that had we let our roosters free range, they would have been goners in 24 hours. I will say that that option was a close second place and something that we did toy with, but the reason we didn't go with that option is because we were the ones who made the choice to bring these chickens into the world. We were the ones who decided to hatch the eggs knowing that statistics say 50% are gonna be hens and 50% are gonna be roosters, so we wanted to use them, whatever that meant. Physically, it was not hard. Mentally, if I'm being honest, yes, it was tough, especially for somebody who doesn't have hunting or fishing experience. We loved these guys, and we treated them just like we treated our hens from day one. That being said, I did it. I was able to sleep peacefully that night. It's not something that's haunting me or haunting my dreams. Truly, I'm okay. For myself, as soon as the dispatching part was over and done with, none of the subsequent steps bothered me in the least. Jonathan's cousin was kind enough to send me photos and videos from their experiences in processing meat birds once a year. And so we got ourselves set up similarly to what they do. We hung cardboard on the tree where we did our dispatching. We used a garbage bag to cover the table where we did the processing. And we had a large garbage bag sitting right next to that for feathers and any other parts that we were going to be disposing of. Just so you know, there are uses for each and every single part of a chicken. For this first go round, having zero waste was not a priority for me. Honestly, it was just doing what I needed to do and getting through it. For starters, let me just say that Jonathan, my husband, has way more of a heart and way more emotion than I do as far as having an attachment to things, but he would have taken this burden from me in a heartbeat had I expressed that I needed or wanted him to. Honestly, I needed to do it solo for the first round to prove to myself that I could. I was the one who wanted to venture into raising chickens. I was the one who wanted to hatch chickens to give our kids that experience. I was the one who took care of these roosters. And so in my mind, it had to be me and only me, at least the first time. Yep, I definitely would. And I won't lie or exaggerate and say that it is something that I am looking forward to doing again, but Jonathan and I are already planning for meat birds next year. We're thinking we're gonna have a bigger processing day, maybe 25 or 30 birds, and he's gonna be a part of it this time. It's been a few hours since I processed the roosters. I'm feeling good about things. Overall, I think today went way better and way quicker than I thought it was going to, especially given that I did do it on my own. It is the end of June in Pennsylvania, which means that sweet corn is coming in season where I'm at, and I'm gaga for it. There's nothing that I like better than fresh sweet corn. So grabbed some local sweet corn from a farm stand just down the road. All 3 of them fit in my largest stock pot. So I have them in there with a bunch of local veggies, turning into lots and lots of stock. And then I am cooking down some veggies here, to which I am going to add the meat from one of the birds when it is done, and a good bit of that stock, and that is going to be chicken corn soup for dinner tonight. So the kids said that they are not ready to eat their own birds yet, and I'm okay with that. At least for this first time, I'm giving them the choice. I told them I would like them to try to take a bite just to prove to themselves that they can do it. Oh, sunblock. I'm like, what does she have all over her face? So anywho, I don't know that Clark and Annie are going to be eating the chicken corn soup, but Jonathan and I will enjoy it very much. That's where we're at. Soup's on, and I'm looking forward to dinner tonight. And a few hours later, we have dinner. Herbs from our garden, local vegetables that Clark and I picked up down the road, and stock and chicken from our own farm. I won't say it's easy when you do this for the first time, but I will say that you can do this. Seriously, if I did it, you can do it. So I hope you enjoy, and happy chicken. Processing day is officially over, and I survived. Got my plate of meat here that I am going to freeze. And then I have several quarts of stock here that I will freeze. And he has corn in his teeth. How was the soup?
Delicious.
Good. I'm so thankful that you came along with me on this one, especially if it was a tough one for you. And we will see you again soon.